The what surprises me is how my mind comes up with very valid excuses for not writing. Not exactly valid per se, but like it's just so logical. You can't really argue with it. It's me that knows that, look, this is just a front trying to cover up for what you actually need to be doing. Like I just wake up and I come up with a very good writing excuse. And then it's more like a card. And like once that card has kind of like expired, I move on to something else. There was a time when I was like, I'm a beginner. I'm just starting out. Let me do some research. Let me know how this great writers started and what they did. What was their secret sauce? I'll find it and then I'll start writing. And I did research for a long time. And did I find the secret sauce? Not exactly. I didn't find anything. I just realized that their life was just boring and ordinary. Like, even mine was even more interesting, yeah, because you just wake up, sit down, and write. And I was doing that. And for me, that was not really a secret sauce. That was, nah, it was like I'm looking for imagining it. I mean, young man, you just have to sit down and write. I'm like, no, dude, stop messing with me. I know there's something behind this thing you're doing. I know there's something, but you guys are just trying to make it seem as if I don't know what I'm talking about. And then there's another time I moved on and I was like, um, I think I have to take a course. Yeah, no, like later on I realized that for some writers they didn't even take a course and yet they're still good writers. And I'm like, okay, so what then do I need to do to be a writer? Well, it seems very basic for me to know that you to be a writer, you just have to write. Yeah, but what? I want to be a great writer. Okay, now we see where the problem is. I want to be a great writer. What exactly does great mean to you? I want to be able to command sentences, write things, and do that. Do you know that everybody starts at the point, dosha? Yeah, everybody starts at the point. At the, it's called the beginner point. It's called the point where you really have no idea what you're doing. It's called the point where you're writing suck. It's called the point where you just have to go through it. And I'm like, okay. So certain ideas just keep coming, and I'm like, oh, um, I'm not good enough, so I won't write. And I'm not good enough, so I don't write. It's an endless cycle that you might never end up writing, except I change my perspective regarding that. Because if I'm not good enough, so I don't write, I will never be good enough because I don't write. And because I will never be good enough, I don't get to write. Because in the first place, I said I am not good enough. So I will not write until I'm good enough. And so that's more like, I'm like, dude, are you really serious right now? Why are you, what's so afraid? What's like, I'm like, okay, writing is, it's an art. It's, it's a creative piece of work. Wonderful. Awesome. But first thing I need to address is, what am I afraid of? Yeah. What am I afraid of? Because when I look at it, I'm like, okay, in other professions, there's certain places where if you're not good at what you do, it means people will die. It means you will die. I'm trying to think of a profession. Like, one little detail, you sleep, the equipment fails, anything. Dude, man, you wake up in the other world. You just open and you see the angels. Yeah. But writing is not like that. At least most of our work end up in trash bin. But it's not like that. That is if we write in the first place. If you write a work that it's not really up to standard per se, the standard you created for yourself, what happens? You write another one tomorrow. Yeah. So nothing really happens. There's really nothing at stake. But then you look at it that those things that are at stake, people are doing it. The things that literally you have to be on point, else you might break your leg, break your hand, you might even get a terrible accident. But people learn and they get good at doing it and then they practice. But unlike with writing. We're like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not gonna. Okay, yeah, if you're not good, so who said? Did you ever say you were good enough? No. Let's be okay with first being a shitty writer who what he writes sounds like, really, really terrible. Not because that's good, but it's a process. We have to start there. We don't know if we knew what we're doing, we would be writing incredible piece of work. But even though we know what we're doing, it's still a work of art. Like we still have to work on it. We still have to create it. So I'm like, this is a reminder for myself that how you evolve with different excuses. Dude, you gotta see at the end of the day, you know that you just can't fool yourself. Yes, you can fool everyone around you. You can tell them like, oh, I would have been a writer, but because of this stuff, yeah, I remember there was a time when I was like, okay, I wanted to write, and then to learn how to write, and then AI came out like, the creative writing, yeah, skip creative writing. I think I'll create a special episode for that. But then I know that excuses will always be there. Well, it will always be there. Reasons why you can't write will always be there. But it's left for me to get out of my way and make it happen despite all the excuses, but despite all the reasons why it can't happen. Because it's important. There are certain tasks that are important. Now, if one way closes, you open, you check the other way. If one door closes, you check the other door. If one door closes, you check the other door. Like you just don't have that liberty to be considering, oh, I'm not going to do it because I wanted to do this thing and it didn't work out. So I'm just going to relax. No, you don't have that liberty. All you have left is you have to keep going because the work is important. So important that you just can't negotiate quitting. Like it's not in the book, how it does not exist. You can't comprehend it. Like when you're thinking, when you're coming up with ideas like, oh, what should I do? It's not in the thought process. And so it's not even there. It's not an option. It's not an option. You know how you want to select, let's say, as you're registering for something, and in online, they're like they send you a drop down of countries that are selected that you can select for as your nationality, and you check there and you don't see your country, especially for those of us that are from the third world countries. Yeah, said maybe because those countries are not allowed, or one reason or another, and you want to select, you don't see your country there. You see other countries, you see US, you see UK, you see Canada, you see all these other countries, but you don't see the country, let's say Nigeria or Bangladesh or India or any of those countries. It's not there. You can't select it. There's nothing you can do. And even you can't like write, there's no place where you now go and write, my country is this, that's my country. No, you have the options is not there. That's how, for me, I feel that when the work is so important, most of these excuses just get out of the way. Yeah, it's just get out of the way. And part of the reason why I'm even doing this daily podcast is my means of being accountable. Yeah, just showing up and writing, and it has been really fantastic though. Yeah, and yeah, it has really been fantastic, and I'm so happy for those of you that have been listening. I'm working. First, I needed to start the podcast, daily podcasting, and when I started the daily podcasting, I was like, okay, now that you started the daily podcasting, you can now optimize what you started. So what's the whole idea of optimizing? Well, it simply means now I can now work on the production quality. I can now work on making better and valuable content for myself and for you too. But then I have to start first, because then I will not be able to optimize a podcast episode that I have not started creating. I have not started making episodes on. Yeah. So from May 17th, I just wanted to say this. I'll be relaunching my newsletter, and you can register at buildwriting.com/newsletter. And every week I do send an email on various realizations and thoughts process and everything that I've come to see. So I'll love if you do subscribe. Yeah, I'll love that if you're part of the family. Until next time, my name is Yemichi Akonam, and if you're listening to the Buildwriting podcast, it can be nice talking to you and talking to myself too. Yeah. Hopefully in future episodes, not to make any promises, we'll get better by showing up. Thank you. Until next time, keep writing.